Hello and welcome to Skills to Pay the Bills and today's segment of Shirley Luu and Associates. Shirley Luu and I are your co-hosts and co-producers for today's show. Shirley has been on the road for the past 6 months, so we are going to catch up with her for the first part of our show. After the break, we are going to chat with our special guest from New Jersey, Ralph Henderson, First Financial Security Life producer. Today, we are going to talk about the sudden and current pandemic and how it has impacted all areas of our daily lives. If there ever was a time for us to stick together, it is now. So let's get started. Shirley, welcome back.
Well, thank you. I missed you.
I know it's been 6 months. So tell us what you have been doing.
Well, you know, with the COVID going on, clients been seeing us remotely on Zoom, webinar, and all those unique and new things that they have nowadays for technology-wise. Right. And of course, we're trying to keep safe distance. And at the same time, I'm seeing the whole dynamic changes with people right now, from losing their job and not having enough money and all these crazy crises and health and, so.
And you're right, and that brings me to my next question. With all of the things that are going on, like you say, people are frightened. Some of them are being mean and impatient with each other, and the death toll is over 400 and almost 440,000 people in the States, and folks losing jobs, kids not in school. How has it affected the financial services market?
Okay, so first of all, the stock market's going crazy off and on.
Yeah.
And you can't explain. People say, well, why is the pandemics going on and yet the stock market keep going? Okay, it doesn't make sense, right? Yeah. And on the other hand, you also got the other spectrum of people saying, they're getting sick. People that was pretty healthy and suddenly overnight, you're sick with COVID situation, and some of them, if you're not even getting sick, in some cases, if you work in the restaurant industry, if you work in the cruise ship industry and all that, then suddenly they don't have a job,
That's true.
And it is crazy that all these things is happening overnight. So from a financial standpoint, some of my clients, to be honest with you, as sad as was, there was some client passed away because the industry that I'm in, we were able to pay out the death benefit to the family. I can't ease that pain, but at least from a financial standpoint, it helps the family on that. Right. Others, that if they couldn't work or they're sick and incapacitated at that time, my policy is able to pay out for the client as a benefit, living benefit. Right. So it's not just death insurance, but nowadays having a living benefit to pay out when you have those crises. Right. And then we have other cases where people lost their job, didn't have the money. They're able to tap into the kind of things that at Shirley Luu Associates created, that they can use that money now to pay the mortgages, to pay for the bills. And even they couldn't pay the premium, the account that we set up had enough money in the account that paid for the next couple of years until they get back on their feet. That's So yes, it happened, but during the time it happens, it's so important to understand what is it that you have that can help you, during this crisis in time, because things happen,
Right, that's true, that is true. Well, Shirley, what if, I'm just thinking about those families, though, that maybe they don't have an annuity, they just have a basic policy, and they're trying to figure out, okay, do I pay rent, do I buy food, or do I pay my insurance policy? And I'm thinking that probably the companies have kind of jumped in and they can work out things so that maybe you can pay it 30 days later or you can pay it on the end. Is there anything going on like that would help people?
Absolutely.
Oh, good. That's good. I'm so glad to hear you say that.
No. We had some very, very, even some sophisticated retirement account and other stuff that during COVID, we were able to work with some of the insurance carrier that, let's say you would do a whole year premium.
Right.
And that year, you didn't have the money. Because like you said, do I pay the mortgage or do I pay this? We're able to work with some of the insurance carriers that the client didn't have to pay.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And guess what? They didn't have to pay, but the policy is still active. So if they would have had situation, pass away with some other stuff that's happening, or chronic illness, or critical illness, or critical injury, or any of that could have occurred, or terminal, the policy would have paid out still, regardless.
Right.
And so I think that's why I get so excited when it comes to, changing the game and being able to show people there's a better way out there. And there's so many people, Tia, that don't know that these policies exist.
Right, that is true. And I know I've had people come to me and they say, you know what, they have a job, but their hours were cut back. And they were saying, I'm thinking about not paying, the insurance policy, just taking a chance. And I told them not to do that because in this day and time, you just don't know. And if somebody would get sick or pass and you don't have the coverage there, it just seems like that would be even worse.
But it's funny. If I were to ask 10 people, do you have insurance on your cell phone?
They would say yes.
They would say yes.
Yeah.
Study shows that people literally have more insurance on their cell phone and other stuff before they have insuring themselves for retirement or insuring themselves against the
so
loved
it's a
one.
priority type thing. They have to put a priority on what.
And the price is what they pay even on the insurance on their cell phone.
Yeah.
It's even more than what they could even get stuff out there. I don't get it,
Yeah.
But again,
Well, that's why you're out educating and your team is
oh
out
my
educating
God,
people every day.
how many young people I talk to is like, I don't have anything, I don't plan anything, I'm still young, I got a way to go.
Speaking about agents, I know you have, the last count was about 1,000 agents. Is that what you still have, or has that gone up or down a little?
Well, from 1,000, I'm now up to 4,000.
Oh my gosh, Shirley.
Yeah.
Oh
and,
my.
And you know what's really neat? During COVID pandemic, we had a college student that was graduating. One of them applied 80 companies. Now, 80, okay? 80 companies. 2 of them said, oh, I'll give you an interview. So she's like, yay. The minute pandemic hit, what do you think happened to those 2?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? This summer, even though pandemic was happening, I took every single one of them are now working for me.
Oh, that's wonderful. So
Yeah.
they're getting it in. Well, I was going to ask you, how are you doing? What are you doing for those agents that you have that fall in the gap, where if they need food or they need, have you been able to? Because I know you're out there in the community doing all sorts of things. So
this Christmas year, I think I did 150 toy drive for 150 foster family. And on top of it, I did another 100 so family as well in giving toys and food and everything else with other churches and organizations I'm involved in. It's been an amazing, amazing journey where we've gone. I mean, we're winning clients all the place. I just won another contract for 295,000 clients, and soon it's pretty neat. I'm going to be a pilot TV show as well. You know.
Well, listen, when they have you come in and talk to the 295 people, that's
1,000.
1,000. Oh my goodness, that's wonderful. So you go in and you're teaching all areas of financial education.
Yeah,
what areas
so
are
we're
you
going in there. So, for
on?
those people whoever's interested, I've got churches, I've got organization, I've got nonprofit, I've got companies, and said, hey, my people need to understand budgeting, finance, retirement, wills, estate, trust, all that. And guess what? I'm teaching it through Zoom, or in some cases, if they have a small group, 5, 10, then we do in classroom and all that, and we teach these at no charge. At no charge. And like I said, I believe financial education start with the young, goes older and all that stuff. And why not, being in that position to help?
You mentioned something I'm thinking, I know we only have about 3 minutes left for this first half of the show, but Shirley, are you still finding that a lot of people still don't have wills and power of attorneys? And can you talk about how important that is?
It is so critical when I talk to people, one thing I'm doing, changing in my financial industry a little bit when I teach it, we actually have a commitment follow through. So we have teamed together, like for example, one group said, I owe a lot of bills. I got to get out of debt, Well, typically what happens, you go to a class and you go away, you don't think about it. You learn it and you're sitting all motivated, but you don't do a thing. But what we did, we took one step further, Tia. This time we took those 6 groups that said they owe money. We said, okay, within the next 6 months, we're going to get rid of all your debts.
Wow.
Which means every week, each one of you, let's say you owe 5,000, okay, Tia, did you pay at least $50? So they would get back as a group together and hold each other accountable every week.
Accountable, yeah.
Yeah, they hold each other accountable. Hey, this month, how much did you eliminate? Oh, I eliminated 1,000. Do you know with that group of 6, within 6 months, They originally over $50,000, and everything was
Oh, Shirley, I
eliminated.
love that. I like that. That's great.
Because I think you have to get people to be willing to do something.
And to be
Hearing
accountable,
is one
like
thing.
you said, to be accountable.
Yeah, like all these young cameramen here, And I mean, and then hopefully hearing this thing that they could take, heed
Right.
advice
Yeah.
on these things.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about it is that I am able to teach the young one. I'm taking them on my wings, and even over, it doesn't matter, the mature one, whoever wants to learn, I'm willing to take that because I need all the help.
So how are you finding the young ones and getting them to sit down and listen? Are you going to college? Well, yeah,
Okay.
how are you doing that?
So it's all by referral.
We got 2 minutes. Tell us how you do it.
Anyway,
2 minutes.
so it's the young ones say, hey, you've got some other one that's going to school and colleges and stuff that there's some of them staying at home right now. They're studying at home.
Yeah.
I said, let them talk to me. But let me tell you, it's somewhat challenging a little bit because, I'm going to be like a mom and dad. Why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? You understand you don't do this? You can't come in,
Right.
And I do. I get very tough on them. I have to get tough on them is because I want them to learn.
Right.
Sometimes tough love, you know what I mean?
Right,
And I said, if
right.
you're going to be me and you're going to represent this, you have to do A, B, C, D, And
Right.
I said, it's your door. The door's right there. It's up to you.
Right. Are you getting more men that are into? Because sometimes I know with the husbands and the wives
No,
are
it's
into it, and the
it's
men
both.
are kind of
It's both right now.
It is? That's
I'm just
good.
growing exponentially everywhere right now.
So
Tia.
do you think the pandemic has a little bit where people are really thinking, hey,
Pandemic,
Yeah.
my business increased 40%.
Shirley, really?
In hiring and in production, in clients, and everything, 40% increase. And most
Wow.
companies out there are downsizing, and I'm growing at 40%.
So you still have openings?
Yes.
Do you have
Well,
openings
remember I
that
told you I
people
just
can
won
go?
contract 295,000 clients,
Yeah.
and I'm rolling that out 2021.
All right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, Shirley, don't be a stranger.
Hey, love
Our
to be
time
here
is
every
up.
time.
Don't be a stranger. Come back and keep us posted on what you're doing.
Yeah, well, the next time, very soon, Tia, exciting, I'm going to be a pilot on a TV show.
Okay,
It's
good.
going to be on
Tell us about that.
The TV shows. I'm flying out there, the all paid expense, everything, and they're going to do a TV show. It's called Overcoming. A story of
like
6
that. I
women
like that title.
who has a tragedy in their life, and they turn around, they make something a little different.
Okay.
So soon, it's coming.
All right.
To a TV near you.
We'll be on the lookout for it.
All right,
Take
thank you.
care.
Tia. All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
Next up, we're going to have Ralph Henderson, First Financial Director. Ralph Henderson from New Jersey. How are you today?
Oh, I'm so good, Miss Tia. So good.
Good. How did you travel today?
I drove.
You did?
Yes, I'm a
Okay,
driver.
you made good time? No traffic?
Yes, today was interestingly easy, given you get to the Beltway and you sort of have to camp. But today it was, I don't know, they just made a hole today.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, welcome aboard, and we've got some questions that we want to get your thoughts about. And we'd like to start out with you talking a little bit about you. Who is Ralph? What do you do?
Let's see. Ralph is a financial services representative with First Financial Security.
Okay.
And I do my best to help people through financial struggles, or if you just want to secure your future and you don't have a solid plan, or if you have a plan and you'd like to know if that plan can use some enhancements, we do audits. So we'll take a look at your total picture and see if there's something that we can help you with, do direct comparisons between the products that you have and the products that we offer.
Right. Earlier, I was talking to Shirley, and she was saying that she's even added, encouraging and talking to people about making sure they have wills and POAs and things like that. Are you into that? You do that as
Estate
well?
planning is very important.
Yeah, everything.
I myself have had a unforeseen circumstance where my lovely wife came down with dementia, and we had to adjust our lives based on the fact that she could no longer speak for herself in a cogent way. So we had to make those adjustments, and I would offer anyone who seems or feels comfortable that if they have any reservations whatsoever, they should secure their estates as quickly as possible, because you just
don't know.
Don't know.
You don't know. That's
Don't
right.
know.
Look at this pandemic. Who
Correct.
could have thought? Who would have thought? Nobody.
Yeah.
You just don't know. Ralph, tell me, how did you connect with Shirley Lou?
How did I
The
connect with
ever-ready
Shirley?
battery.
Yes. the bunny herself,
Yeah,
right?
right. The money yourself.
I had to rethink my financial future. I was an engineer and a computer consultant, and I was away from home. And then my wife got ill. I became closer to home. And as things progressed, I stopped working, and then I had to figure out a way to make an income. And I came up with this great plan. And I called a friend of mine, and I said, "Hey, friend, what do you think about this plan?" And he said, "You need to speak to Shirley."
Wow.
And I was like, "Shirley? Who's Shirley?" And he introduced me to Shirley. And we had a great dinner, and I ended up buying products.
Wow. So did you come to the district to meet her?
Yes,
or was
I
she
did.
Did she happen to be in New
No,
Jersey?
I
at one of
came
her
as soon
events?
as soon as the suggestion was made. I came straight to Shirley.
Wow.
And she met me for dinner at Tyson's Corners.
Right.
And she took me to this restaurant after hours. Oh, first she invited me to her home, and she said, "Since you came all the way down here," she had wanted me to spend the night. And I had an early morning appointment the next day. I hadn't planned to spend the night. I didn't bring anything with me, but it was a wonderful gesture,
Right.
you know. And then
She's a wonderful hostess.
oh my
Yeah, she
goodness!
is.
I mean, I'd never stay in a hotel again in my life if everywhere I had to travel was the district, because she runs a 5-star joint. Let me tell you.
She does. She really
And
does.
so we sat down, and she says, "Hey, this is what I'm gonna lay out for you," and I was a client.
All right. That sounds good. Now, you refer to yourself as a line producer, and she referred to you as a director. So you're a director, line producer.
Well, the
for-
way it works is I'm licensed, and that's what they call a license.
Okay.
All right. Within the structure of our services, you know, I've earned the title of director. So
Oh, that's wonderful.
I mean,
That's
it's nice. It's okay.
So tell me a little bit about the products and services that you
Well,
that you
basically,
educate people on, because that's where it starts, is with the education.
it does. It starts with a conversation where we try to glean your knowledge and experience, and try to document your goals. And after we get certain information about you, we sit down and we do a comparison. We do what we call an audit, and we go over each of your products, and we either we have an offering, or we tell you how to improve on your circumstance, even if we can't help you. So we can refer somebody if you like, but for most circumstances, we have something that will make your life a little bit easier, a little bit better. And so we have very competitive rates, and we specialize in making sure that we know where you are and we meet you at that place. So if you're a very wealthy person, we can talk. We can talk freely.
Right.
Right. However, if you have more modest means, you tell us where you are, and we will tailor a program that will help you go forward.
Okay.
And so we can also make sure that you have a legacy that you can leave to your family, and we also help you with your debt. We help you navigate out of debt so that when you get to a retirement age, you're not carrying mortgages or a lot of credit card debt or any of that kind of thing.
So you get into debt management and budgeting.
Oh, you have
and-
to, because you can't ask a client to indulge in your product and enjoy the experience and then have this thing lurking over their shoulder called debt.
Right.
So you have to work each of those instances individually and sometimes aggressively, because depending on how old the person is, what it is they want to do with their family, their goals. You know, if you got kids that are growing up and you want to see them go to college and you want to be able to afford it, we got to start now and we got to go hard.
Right.
And so, but we lay all that out for them, and they get to make a choice of what they feel the priority really is, because you have to live.
That's true.
You know,
do.
you have to live. We don't want you to be subsisting in America like you live in a very poor country, right?
And I would imagine, knowing Shirley, the length of time that I've known her, is that there's no pressure involved. A lot of people, if you say something about financial services or insurance or something, they start running away. But I'm thinking that there's no pressure when you're talking to people.
Well, like I said, we meet you where you are.
Right.
So I don't mind having a conversation with you to get a roadmap for what you may think you want to do. and 2 years, 3 years, whatever.
Right.
When you call, we jump on it. We quickly re-audit you, and we see if you have improved or where you are, and then we approach the problem from that point on. We don't look in the past.
What makes Shirley Lou and Associates, what makes her organization different? Because there's so many different
I'll tell you what
markets
makes
out there.
I'll tell
what
you,
makes the
Shirley
difference?
Lou makes a difference.
Yeah.
Shirley Lou is the big
It's
difference.
a personality.
Her personality, and her care for the clients. She just wants to do better than the other guy. She wants to be available. She insists that we return your calls. When she says, she'll come to the office and she'll say, "Hey, client X called and you didn't get back to him for 12 hours. You get back to him in 4 hours. You get back to him in 6 hours, but you do not let that call linger. You stop what you're doing, you turn that call, you find out what's required, and then you move on. But you do not leave that person with the impression that they have no standing with you."
Right, that's right. In your words and in your estimation, how has the pandemic affected your market?
Well, it's improved in a lot of ways because now individuals are being forced to rethink how they live their lives, and they're being forced to take precautions that maybe before they thought they had time to take.
Right.
But the pandemic has really altered the way people perceive even the illnesses that some of us Americans have suffered, because you go into the hospital, you're hospitalized with a positive test, and when you come out, there's really not a lot of certainty that you will come out on the other end unscathed.
Right.
Yeah, you're infection free, but now you have a malady that is chronic and you need to deal with all the time, or you may lose the function of an organ, or it's so many things that are starting to become apparent with infection, and so we as a nation are taking it more seriously as we go. Because remember, at first, it's just a sniffle, and that, in America, I guess you could say that's reasonable because we can't perceive anything else medically as laymen. But when your uncle goes in and doesn't come out and was reasonably healthy in your mind, it gives you pause.
Right.
And so.
And that is happening to many people. I talked to a friend of mine. They gave their mother a 90-year-old birthday party in I think it was in September, and they're burying her this week, which is a reality. You don't like to talk about death or people going in the hospital for a cough and then they don't come out.
So real.
And
with
the ages could be anywhere from 20 years old and above. I know my mom dealt with COVID, but she made it through, and she's 97. But there's some that are younger than her, a lot younger than her. They didn't make it.
Yeah.
They didn't make it.
And it really is a unique experience insofar as whatever it is that makes you is impacted in ways that you can't anticipate.
Right.
And so we certainly would encourage every consumer to become a client. And we want to do better. We want to do better than any other place that you can possibly visit. And I would say we do. If we have 100 clients, you may be able to find a broker that can give you a similar product at a better price. But that probability is like 1%.
Right.
Because we will go as hard as we need to. As a matter of fact, if you do have a product where it does better than what we offer, we'll get appointed with that firm so we can resell their products.
Right. Well, that's good. We have about a minute and 30 seconds to go, Ralph. What is your message to individuals and families who are struggling to find out whether I paid Peter, Paul, or Mary? They don't know what to do. What would your advice? And some of them are leaning. The ones I've talked to, they're leaning towards taking a chance and dropping their life insurance. Or help. What would you say to those families?
I would say, me personally, my life insurance bill is one of my most important obligations because it represents legacy. My message, though, pay yourself first. encourage your children to pay themselves first. And once you pay yourself, you'll know how much you have remaining for you to live your discretionary life.
Yeah.
How many movies to go to, how many Starbucks coffees to buy.
Right.
But base that decision on having taken care of yourself, your family, your legacy.
Okay.
Because you want your children to jump off a higher perch in life than you did. So if you were a doctor, you want your children to become like, I don't know, what's more educated and affluent than a doctor. You want to shoot for that
Right.
for your children. But of course, that takes discipline.
Ralph Henderson, thank you so much. You are welcome back anytime.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
And thank you for watching Skills to Pay the Bills and today's segment of Shirley Luu and Associates. We thank our special guest, of course, Ralph Henderson, and wish him much success as he continues to partner with Shirley Luu, assisting with clients and individuals and families with their financial growth and security. Be sure to turn in next week for another great show on Skills to Pay the Bills. Be safe and wear a mask, please. Bye-bye.